Hi, I'm Dr. Paula Nelson, and this is just a short video just to give you information to help you learn how to use Blackboard Ultra if you're not familiar with it. We are switching to a newer version of Blackboard, which is called the Blackboard Ultra. There are similarities between the old version, but there's also some differences. So hopefully this will help you learn how to navigate through the newer version, which is the Blackboard Ultra. When you log into Blackboard, as you normally would, you should see a list of the classes that you're taking. Yours might look a little bit different than the way I have mine set up, but you would see the list of classes and then click on the specific class that you're wanting to get information from, view, etc. So in this example, I'm using one of my microbiology courses. And you will see at the very top here are across the top a list of different topics. As you can see on the far left, it is listed as content, and that's what's going to appear then below. Under course content, we have several different folders or modules, etc. A few things on this newer version. Let's see if we can come in here. I'm going to start with the start here. You would click on that and open up. But as you look down this list, you'll notice that there are different topics. The lecture, Unit 1. Right here, there's a lab manual. You'll notice there's an empty or open circle here. That means you have not opened and looked at it yet. There's a lab safety contract, exam, or before the exams, it's a lab Unit 1. So for the way my classes are designed, all the information you need will be under this content file. So if you go to, you saw on the previous slide, the start here was the very first thing on that whole list. Under the start here, there are several different topics. As you can see, the welcome, meet your instructor. If you were to go down right here, the syllabus concourse one, that is where the detailed syllabus is. It's multi-pages. At the very, that will have things about meeting your instructor, has office hours, what you're going to be covering. At the very end of it, it has the detailed course schedule. It has how the points are determined for the class, what books you're using. So all the information about the course should be found and included in that syllabus concourse. Right beneath it is the course overview and schedule. Here's where there's a description of what the course is about. And there is some overlap where you can find information in multiple places. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for you. Under the schedule, you will find, I will have placed there the specific where you could click just on the lab schedule or just on the lecture schedule. It has all the other stuff taken out of it from the, so this is just the schedule so you can follow the daily schedule. Personally, for my classes, I have something here beneath that where it's read the syllabus, and there's a syllabus quiz, there's student resources, how to use Honor Lock. If it is a fully face-to-face class, you do not need to worry about Honor Lock, but if it is a hybrid or an online class where you will be taking your exams online, Honor Lock is our proctoring service that we use, and so there is information included here on that. To monitor your progress, once again, the circles right now are showing as empty to the left of the prompt. Once you'll see in a moment that once you have opened it, that will fill in. So you're able to easily monitor your progress. So the first thing, the welcome, this is where I have information similar to the welcome letter that was sent to you by email before the start of the class. I have information where I talk about how any information that I put on Blackboard will remain there all semester. A little bit about the class, how I put out weekly announcements. Towards the bottom of it, I do have the books listed that we use. Let's see, right here is the lecture book. and then the lab manual that we use. And sometimes you may have to continue scrolling down a bit. At the very end, I do mention where you can find my office hours, etc. So that would be the welcome. And then meet your instructor. This has the detailed information about how to contact me, my email, my phone, my office. Personally, for me, email is usually the easiest way to get hold of me. My office hours are listed right here. This semester, they're on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If those times do not work for you, I mentioned there that you can contact me and I can meet you by appointment at a different time or different setup. And there's a little bit about my background. As you can see here on this example, once we've clicked on both the welcome and the meet your instructor, notice here how those circles are now half filled. That is your clue that you have already looked at those. So you don't have to go back and reread them again, unless you want to. When the entire segment, all of these understart here, when all of those have been viewed by you, then they will fill to a completely filled in circle. So that way you know you have completed that assignment. Another way of checking your progress is up here. It will tell you, it's kind of monitoring your progress. It says 2 out of 19. So there's 19 different things there, and they are very specific as to every little thing they count. So don't panic if it's a high number. But it tells you already you've done 2 out of 19. So it's a way of helping to monitor your progress through it. For Honor Lock, this is just an example of what something looks like when you go in and you, if you can see through here, it says there's an Honor Lock consent form. Once again, that is for those who are taking a hybrid or online course. So if you are taking a fully face-to-face course and you don't see this part, that's because I have it hidden from you, so don't worry about it. But when you have any assignment such as this, when you look at it, this is what it's going to look like when you click on it. And there are several things up here. Number one, obviously the name. You can go click here to go to the previous slide or to the next slide if you so wish up here. So it allows you to toggle back and forth. Over, let's see, right here, it will tell you assessment due date, tells you when it is due, the time that it is due, how many attempts you get, and in this case, it is worth 1 point. So if you want to then view it, click to view the assignment, and this is what you'll see. For this, and this is true like for your homeworks, which you'll see again in a moment. Right here is where you will click to actually see the form. Click on that. Here is where you would submit the completed form. Once again, the details up here are going to tell you when it is due, the time that it's due, how many attempts, and how many points this assignment is worth once it's been completed. Scrolling on down, because we clicked on that Honor Lock 1, notice that the number up here has changed now 3 to 19. It will click it halfway when the little circle over here, when you open it, and you don't have to go in order, but if you open it, it will, once you've opened it, it'll fill in halfway. When you have completed it, it will fill in as a solid black circle. So you'll notice I have my lecture and my labs separated. This is an example of showing for Unit 1 the lecture component, because my classes have both a lecture and a lab component. So it is showing the lecture component. When you click on Lecture Unit 1, this is what will open, and this is open and available for you to see the very first day. This introduction classification, that just gives a description as to what this unit is about. And then you've got the Lecture 1 PowerPoints, and then the PowerPoint videos. The difference between the PowerPoints are just the PowerPoints. The videos have me talking in the background. So basically, it's, do you want to just read it on your own, or do you want to hear me talking off? I will tell you often when I'm talking on these videos, I may be giving additional information. I don't just read verbatim from the slide. It's as though you're in my lecture in person. I provide these regardless of the format of the class, whether it's face-to-face, online, or hybrid. My reasoning for that is, yes, those of you who are taking me face-to-face will get the lectures in person. But if something were to come up, you were sick, and for whatever reason you missed a class, well, you can always watch the videos, and you can hear me talking on them if you wish. Even if you were in class, some people like to be able to either before class listen to them, or after class, what did she say about this? Well, I say you don't have to, I'm not monitoring whether you're watching every single video or not. If you prefer just to watch the PowerPoints and just read it on your own, that's fine. There's additional information, such as there's a special slide on the gram sustain. There's an example showing an algae bloom in Lake Pontchartrain from several years ago. Sometimes there's more information in some units than others, so you may have to scroll down a bit. I do try to have them organized in the same way, where the first thing is going to be this introduction classification. Regardless of the unit, then you're going to have your PowerPoints, then your PowerPoint videos, you'll have supplemental material. Keep scrolling down, and towards the bottom you will have homework. In this case it says homework number 1. You notice in the small print it does say the due date, and then there's a review for the exam on there. So this is what I was talking about, the introduction classification. It just gives you what the learning outcomes are, what your requirements for this, reading the chapters, viewing the PowerPoints, do the homework. There is a discussion topic that you'll see in a moment that's associated with each unit as well, studying for the test. So here, once again, this is showing you have clicked on that introduction to see what this unit is about. So that is why this circle is half filled in. And up here, it says for this particular module, Lecture Unit 1, you've completed 1 out of 17. It's showing further up here on the start here that you've done the 3 out of 19. So now if you want to go find the PowerPoints, click on Lecture Unit 1 PowerPoints, and now you will see listed. For this particular unit, there are 6 chapters. So each one is listed separate. You would click on, we tend to go in order, so click on Chapter 1 first. This is what you would see when you click on Chapter 1. This will start PowerPoint, you would scroll down to see all of the slides. So you have the slides. So if you are taking my class in person, face-to-face, or even hybrid, and you come for a part of the class, when I'm doing lectures, the PowerPoints I'm using, these are here. That's what these are. So don't feel as though you have to write down every little thing that's on the PowerPoint. You already have access to it right here. Some people like to bring their laptops and they just add notes on the side as I'm lecturing. Some people prefer the old way of printing them out and printing maybe 3 slides per page, and they do often switch it to black and white, so you're not paying for color, because you'll find that I do like to put color in the background of my slides. But you have access to all of this regardless of the format of the class that you're taking. Homework, just like you saw in the honor lock form, if you click on the homework, this is what you will see. Once again, it will tell you the due date. It will tell you you have only 1 attempt, and it will tell you the number of points that it is worth. So when you click on View Assignment, you can go up here, click on here to see the actual document. You can download it. I have all of them where you can view it and you can download it, and then you would submit it here. Once again, over here on the side gives you that information as far as the number of attempts. If something happens when you're trying to submit it, just contact me. Sometimes students, oh my gosh, I put the wrong assignment in. Just contact me. I can delete it and allow you another attempt. And sometimes Blackboard decides it doesn't like a student, and if you have problems submitting things, you can always email it to me. This shows the lab manual. You click on that lab manual tab and it will bring up the lab manual. The lab manual is free. That's why I have it here on Blackboard for you to download. You do not have to bring a printed copy to class. Oftentimes people for lab will bring their laptop in and they have it downloaded on their laptop so they can easily pull it up. You may want to do that because sometimes our Wi-Fi in the building is a little sketchy. So oftentimes what students will do is they'll just download it so it's on their laptop, and then they can easily pull it up for the assignment. But the bottom line is you do not have to pay for either the textbook or the lab manual for this course. So on this screenshot is showing up here. Here's the lab manual that we just looked at. So that's why it's half colored in, because we've looked at it. There's a lab safety contract that must be completed. As you can see here, that is due by August 26th for this particular class. Any of the face-to-face and hybrid classes, you are going to have to fill out the lab safety contract. That is where it is found. The lab is going to be set up very similar to the lecture, in that in this module or this unit, it's labeled as Lab Unit 1. You're going to have a little introduction. You're going to, as to what we're going to be covering, just like we did in the lecture. In this one, because it's the first one, I do have the list of bacteria that we use. We tend to use abbreviations, and so if you ever need to refer back to what is SM, I don't remember what that is, or SA or PV. That's where you can see the list. At the beginning of the semester, I do always write them out, but that's, as a backup, that's where it's going to be. These are going to be the list of potential unknowns at the end of the semester for microbiology labs, so just so you know. But for any of my courses, regardless, even if it's A and P, you're going to have the same setup. Introduction, you're going to have PowerPoint, the PowerPoint videos, which is just me talking in the background. There may be some lab demos here. You can have your assignments. This is where worksheets are going to be. I tend, just to keep it straight for me, if it is homework, it is with lecture. If it is a worksheet, it is with lab. That's just the way that I keep things straight. For both microbiology and A&P, there's going to be a section with reviews. It may be reviews on just simple one-page on whatever the topic is under this unit, whether it's reviews on how to do gram stain, capsule stain, or A&P. It might be reviews on, here's a review of the skeletal system, here's a review of the muscular system, etc. And then once again, I always put in exam review. Under assignments, sometimes depending on the course and how many assignments there are, A&P, it may just say homework or worksheet number 1. Microbiology, we tend to have a few more worksheets, and so that's why I have it. You'll find all of them under assignments. You've got, in this case, a dilution, microscope, and gram stain lab report. All of these will be found under the assignments. That is also just like the homeworks where you would go to submit them. Lab safety contract. For those of you, once again, who are taking class either where you have part of the lab in person, whether it's fully 100% in person or a hybrid where it's only partially in person, you will have to fill out the lab safety contract. So it is found under its own separate title. And if you keep scrolling down, we're still under content. You keep scrolling down, and at the bottom there's going to be exams. If you are taking a class where it's hybrid or completely online, this is where you're going to find all of your exams for the course. Now, all of my classes, I have decided to add a syllabus quiz. So this usually where you will find it. Some of them, maybe if it's found in a different place, it'd be under the start here. And I will have that in the information. But you would go, in this case, it's showing the syllabus quiz. You would click on it. When you click on an exam, so this is showing a lab exam 1, you would click on it. It tells you over in the right margin here when the due date is, what is the time limit, how many attempts you get, how many points it is worth. All of my exams are timed, and they are set so that when you reach that time limit, it is automatically going to submit it. But you have don't stress over. You have plenty enough time to complete the exam. So once again, up at the top here is that start here. Here's your lecture unit 1. Here's your lab manual, safety contract, lab unit 1. Here are your exams, and then the exams are listed under there. All of this is listed under the content. So we're still under that first tab. This is showing some classes. There is one set of assignments that we do. That is a group assignment. It would go to the group tab, and then right now I do not have them set up, but I would have the different groups listed here. You would see your group and be able to progress from there. Messages under this tab as we go along the margins across the top. If there are messages, if I send things through Blackboard messages, this is where it will appear. The calendar for this particular course, it will automatically put in when the various assignments are due. So you can see here it is already marked for this particular course of when different assignments, not only the homework and worksheets, but also the exams. When are all of those things due? So it's a visual, easy way of seeing when are you keeping on track with stuff. Discussions. I'm doing discussions. I used to just do them in my online classes. I'm now doing them for all of my courses. It's just a way of being able to talk about sometimes some current events, just some general things in a less stressful type of environment. So each unit will have a discussion. You have until the day of the exam to post your comments on whatever the discussion topic is for that unit. If you're taking a hybrid or online class, my exams are usually open for 3 days. And so the date that's listed on your syllabus for the exam is the middle of those 3 days. And that will be the day that the discussion topics are due. I will post everything for due dates on my announcements. But the discussions, there's 2 ways of finding them. If you scroll down past exams, then you will see the discussion. This is shown, so this is one place. Go under content and you can come down here, the unit 1 discussion. It tells you the due date and it has what the discussion topic is. Click on that, it'll bring it up, and then you can add your comments to it. And it will, the gradebook is where you can see all of your assignments will be listed. As they are graded, then those grades are going to be filled in this column up here. Due dates are shown in this column. So not everything is shown on here. So this is still part of the gradebook. You're going to have to scroll down. There's going to be a lot of things listed because every worksheet, every homework, every exam, every discussion is listed individually on there. So So once again, under content, you can find the discussions, announcements. I will post announcements once a week to help keep you on track for that week so you do not get behind. The announcements, I always say, at the very latest will be posted by 6 p.m. on Sunday evening for that following week. Usually, I actually have been trying to get them up by the previous Friday, so you have the weekend to look at it as well. But I will post. So if you go to announcements, now right here you can see that one under there. That means that there is one announcement posted. So you click on this and it will give you the full announcement on there. So here's what it looks like. Now this new version is not allowing me to highlight things, which I'm used to doing, but the top will have some general information. In this case, it's telling you that you have a syllabus quiz. It's telling you when it's due, how many points it's worth. Now, right here under lecture, here's an example of something that I do. Is that I tell you, you need to watch chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4 this week. So I'm telling you what you have to do. This is for the lecture. And then in parentheses, you can see it says content. Lecture Unit 1, PowerPoint videos. That is telling you where to find the information. That means you go on that previous slide where when you first click in and you've got those tabs across the top, you click on content. That's going to open up. Then you go down till you see Lecture Unit 1. Click on that. That's going to then open up and you click on PowerPoint videos. And then you go to chapters 1 and then followed by 2 and then 3 and then 4. So I'm telling you where to find everything. If you forget, oh, where am I supposed to, okay, I've got homework number 1 is due. Where am I supposed to find the homework? It tells you right here in parentheses, right after the due date on it. Content, click on Lecture Unit 1, click on Homework Number 1. That's where you're going to find it. So every week there will be these announcements, and I leave the announcements up. Once I put them, they're up all semester. So if you ever need to go back and check something, I leave everything up. Once you have availabilities as we move through the semester, and let's say we're on Unit 3, Unit 1 and Unit 2 are still open and available. So you can always go back to previous things.